morning, good afternoon. This is Elizabeth from Be the Voice Show on intellectualradio.com. And this is my special guest, Yolanda Carter. Her story is very moving. She is a survivor of domestic violence. Um, Tell us what you got and tell us about your story.
Well, due to the fact that Domestic Violence Awareness Month is in October, domestic violence is every day. It's not just October. A lot
Mhm.
of times we don't know what exactly domestic violence is. We think
Right,
domestic violence is just someone physically putting their hands on us.
right,
But it's not. It's a cycle of abuse. It's domestic violence is a form of power and control,
mhm,
which a lot of us don't know really what we, you know, how to determine what if we are in a abusive relationship
right,
or if we're just in a relationship where they just having a bad day.
right,
A lot of times they say, well, if I didn't do this the wrong way, maybe the person wouldn't have blown up. But it starts off with tension building.
right.
And a lot of times we look at like, oh my God, you was charming, you was very, nice in the beginning. Then all of a sudden, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, you become a whole nother person. So what I really wanted to about today was a little bit of my story and how we can also get the help we need and the service that we offer because it's very important to shed light on domestic violence, and we're not talking about it enough, and how it is really spiking now because of the COVID-19 and the stay in order. So we really need to address these issues and bring it to the surface and let people see exactly what's going on. My story was I think, a little different than a lot of other people because mine just got me by surprise.
Right.
It just was like, oh my God. And one day I woke up, I was with this person and we went to work and was like, okay, I'll see you later. And then next 3 days later, I have a hammer to my head.
Yeah, there were no signs, no arguing, no
There was
fighting,
none
nothing,
at that
anything.
particular time, but
Okay.
before all the initial, there was times when throughout the relationship there was some verbal altercations,
Yes.
mental, emotional. Even he was, psychologically, and he was making me think one thing that when it really wasn't.
Mhm.
So manipulation,
Yeah,
it
I
was a
hear that
lot
a
of
lot. Yep.
manipulating,
Yep.
and there was never any physical altercation,
Okay.
never physical. So that's why I didn't never think that I could have been in a domestic violence relationship.
Relationship.
I'm like, no,
Yeah,
that's
but
not
I think
me.
one of the things people don't realize that sometimes it doesn't always have to be physical. It could be mental abuse. It could be financially. It could be sexually. It's
Yes,
domestic violence. Covers a whole lot of different
a-
areas. So
absolutely.
everybody doesn't go through the physical aspects
Yes.
of it.
And like I said, domestic violence is not just a intimate partner. A lot of people think, oh, it's just a lover's quarrel, somebody just your partner that's abusing you. No,
Right.
it's women against kids and family members. It could be a friend or
Right.
somebody that you don't
Mhm.
know. That's domestic. So you
Mhm.
can't say, oh, it's just a boyfriend or something. No, it's not. Domestic violence is not just the intimate partner. And what we really need to do, we need to know and educate ourselves about what domestic violence is.
Yes.
Yes, one day you can wake up this person in domestic violence also is not just a woman thing.
Yeah, men too. Yeah, and
Men
I think
goes through domestic violence as
and
well.
the thing is, I think a lot of times men don't come out and speak on it as much as a woman will. They, I guess, because it demasculates them and makes them feel, like, hey, who's going to believe me that a woman's beating on me? Or,
Yes.
even when it comes to like sexual assault, a lot of times when men or boys are
Yes.
sexually assaulted, they don't want to come out and say, well, I was sexually assaulted because they're looking at you like, well, you're the man.
Okay.
So
Yes,
it's
sexual
a double
assault.
standard. It really is.
Exactly, sexual assault and also sex trafficking and domestic
Yeah.
violence go like up under the same umbrella.
They
Basically,
just
it's
in
go hand to hand.
Georgia, they just got, I think, like 36 girls out of a sex trafficking ring. The
Wow.
marshals did. Yeah, it's been all over the news. I think yesterday, day before yesterday, they recently just got 36 girls out of that sex trafficking ring.
Wow,
Yep.
unbelievable. But you know what? Thank God they are alive. Well, when I realized that I was in a domestic violence relationship, it was after my incident happened.
Okay.
My first encounter with domestic violence, it was not called domestic violence in the 80s. It was called lovers quarrel. They would
Okay.
have the
Right.
partner to go take a walk. And then
Right.
when you come back, everybody is okay. And
Mm-hmm.
then you go back to normal, like ain't nothing ever happened. You all
Right.
get to talking back, and then everything is just like that. So that I didn't think, because that, if in that time I was being physically abused.
Oh wow. Really?
So yes, I was being physically abused, with my hair being pulled out of my head, with my face, just busting my nose, and
Wow.
stuff like that. And I couldn't understand, why would somebody do something like that. I
Right.
never watched this growing up, but I realized that it's learned behavior. A
Mhm.
person can watch it growing up and they think this is normal. We
Right.
normalize so many things
Yep.
in life. So we thinking that this is normal, and it's something that everybody does.
Right.
But it's not. It's
Mhm.
very toxic, and it's not a good thing to go
Right.
through if you can help but going through. But we need to
Mhm.
also pay attention to how not to get into these relationships,
Relationships at
because
all.
we always talk about how that we can get into a relationship with someone, and we make excuses for bad behaviors.
Yep.
But we also have safety planning. Well,
Mhm.
once you're in this relationship, we have safety plan for you to get out of it, and say,
Okay.
well, let's create a plan, or you have to get with somebody that can get you in a safe place,
Right.
a professional. It ain't always a family member. It's not always a friend that you can trust, but you have to always have one person.
Like an
And
outlet.
yes, and
Okay.
leaving a person in a time of like that is never equal safety,
Right.
because you never will tell your partner, "Oh, I'm getting ready to leave you. I'm mad. I'm tired of you. I don't like you.
Mhm.
I'm just leaving you." That's
Right.
not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to leave just like that. So,
Okay. And
mhm.
now with your the one you went through in the 80s, were you married or was it just,
No, I was not
relationship?
married. Those were my two daughters, their father. That
Mhm.
was he's now deceased. I never thought that I would have to even talk about this,
Mhm.
because a lot of times we bury things and we
Mhm.
never have to rehash it, because
Right.
I didn't see the need to. I didn't know what I was really going through. It was just something that was happening at the time.
Right.
And then I just kind of like tucked it away. And that's
Right.
what a lot of us do. We tuck away all these things, we brush it up under the rug like
Mhm.
it never happens, and it's okay. Let's go live our lives.
Right.
But because of my second incident,
Mhm.
when I was forced, this was just like something was dropped in my lap, like
Exactly.
God spared
Right.
my life
Right.
to
Right.
let me know that I'm getting ready to show you what I'm gonna show people, what an image of God's miracle really look like.
Mhm.
And I want you to go out in these streets, and I want you to talk about domestic violence. I want you to help somebody,
Right.
because what happened to me, it was not for me. It was for someone else.
Yeah. Right.
And the thing about it is that a lot of times we don't know how to forgive.
Mhm.
Can you imagine me waking up in a pool of blood by the partner that I trusted and I lived with? And I'm
Right.
thinking that, okay, I'm gonna forgive this person. It
Right.
was very difficult to forgive
But you
someone
don't
for
forgive for
trying
him.
to.
You forgive for yourself
The
though,
forgiveness
because
was not for him;
it's for
it was for
yourself.
me.
Because I'm telling you, with
So
all that anger and hate, it will kill you. It will eat you up. It turns into cancer and all kind of illnesses and stuff. And believe me, hate and unforgiveness is just very toxic. It really is. And I know a lot of people say they don't see how you do it, but just crazy to walk around all that unhappiness. It
yes,
really
and
is.
when you have to walk around, I wasn't afraid, because I didn't have to walk on no eggshells.
Mhm.
I didn't have to, if I wanted to get up and go places. But let me share just a little bit about my story.
Okay.
March 22nd, that's when my incident happened. My life had changed for the rest of my life. But I didn't see the vision of me out here being a public speaker or anything to that nature. I just thought that this would happen to me, and this is just was it. It was like I would have to find my way. And I thank God that someone came into my life, and she introduced me to Metropolitan Family Services. And she said, these are services that can help you to navigate and realize and find out which way to go. They will help you. So I was like, okay. They was like, this is a therapist. And I was going to a therapist that my doctor had assigned for me in the beginning. But every time I go, I would just break down and cry because I didn't know how to channel my emotions. I was dealing with the PTSD. And then I was also dealing with my own physical appearance. Like, nobody gonna like me. I'm just ugly. I'm mangled. I don't know what to do. I got all these surgeries ahead of me and everything else. And the person that I was with, I couldn't believe that he would ever do something like this because he was very charming and debonair. He was like a knight in shining armor. And I want people to realize that just because a person is a knight in shining armor does not mean that it cannot happen. A lot of us think, oh no, he loves me. I said the same thing. I said, oh no, that no one would ever put their hands on me. This would happen. It's not about what you let somebody put their hands on you. This stuff happens just by chance. That happened. I was asleep in my bed and someone coming while I was asleep and took a hammer to beat me, my lifeless body, and leaving me to die. And for the reason why I'm here today is because of my son. And he thought quickly and got me the help that I needed. But at the end of the day, I knew that I wanted my story to come out. I wanted people to know that domestic violence, it happened. It happened to me. It can happen to many other people. And you don't have to live and suffer in silence.
Happening to somebody right now, believe it or not.
Someone is going through it right now. Every day, every hour, every second, someone is going out. So while I wrote my book, while I had a curator, and I also had a ghostwriter, which is Candy Bisbal. She was my curator for my One Eyewitness, which is a book. It is a self-help and a prevention tool that people really need to get this book because it is very educational. It has the 25 myths in it. It has a journal after each chapter of the book. And everyone needs to know that if they are in a domestic violence relationship, they can go to this book and see all the signs and everything that they need to know. And they can jot it down at the back because a lot of times we have stuff in our mind and we want to remember it. We want to jot it, but sometimes we don't have a piece of paper. But without the piece of paper, we don't have to deal with that because at the end of each chapter, let me show you it has a journal, it has numbers, and it tells a lot. It has a lot of information. It has the power and control wheel. It has so many different things, and you see how you can write. And these are like the notes and stuff, my journal notes. So you can always write down information that you need. So it was very traumatic for not only myself, it was for my family as well.
I can imagine. I couldn't, your son's the one that found you.
Yes, it was very, very traumatic for him. And we just need to know what the cycle of abuse is, what domestic violence is, how to get out of it, how to get out of the safe, and what should we look at. We know mental, emotional, verbal, psychological, financial abuse is very difficult because you better have a partner and they take all of your money away. You can't even go anywhere. You can't do anything. You won't be able to, they just take your power away from you. And once we gotten our power taken away from us, it's just over with. So that's why now I am an advocate outreach for Metropolitan Family Services because Metropolitan Family Services was where I started my therapy at. And because I was a person that was there for services and they see how good I was doing, they offered me a position, say, Yolanda, you would be great out here. And I said, I'm already, this is what I do, anything already. I advocate already. I'm out here, I'm certified now to be an advocate to help other people. So yes, I wanted to share a lot of the Metropolitan Family Services, what we offer. We do offer a lot of clinical services, which is safety planning, case managing, individual and family counseling with survivors and their children, groups where survivors and children can share experiences, find support and break in isolation, court advocacy. And this is something that was very good for people that don't want to go to court on their own. They can have an advocate. And that's what happen with me because I was so
Right.
afraid, and just his voice would just make me feel so like, oh my God, I don't want to be in here. So just to keep a lot of the trauma,
Mhm.
down, they counted me with a advocate, a company. She went to court for me. They helped navigate the civil and criminal process related to the order of protection, safety planning, and referrals and resources such as food, clothing, financial assistance, counseling, and shelter.
Mhm.
They also have the legal representation, order protection, dissolution of marriage, child support, child custody and divorce cases, division of property and debt, parenting, decision making, criminal prosecution,
Right.
and supervised visitation and safety exchange. So
Okay.
these are a lot of things. So metropolitan locations, they have a North Side location center, a Calumet Center, a Midway Center, and Legal Aid Society at the general office downtown. So
Okay.
we offer so many
Much.
things. This is
Okay.
like one-stop shop. It's under one umbrella. It
Okay.
has so many different services. So I'm grateful that I am a part of Metropolitan Family Services because they
Okay.
definitely help me.
Okay.
And a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm not going to go see a therapist. They can't help me." But it's to each its own. It's to everyone.
And there's a lot of stigmas that they consider you
Stigma.
crazy if you want to go see a therapist, a counselor,
Or that's a
psychiatrist,
shrink. Why would you go tell them your business?
psychologist or something? But those back in the day, it's just the stigmas and taboos in
Oh
our
yes,
community.
taboo. It's
I think
definitely a stigma.
it doesn't have to. Everybody goes through some sort of grief or sadness. I mean, you can lose your job and it can cause sadness.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not always about a lot of different things. Everybody has some kind of emotion, and
Yes.
so I don't know why people just are afraid to still go see counselors or doctors or therapists. It's just gotta stop the stigma.
Right. I believe it's very important. And yes, due to the stigma and what people think about domestic violence, they feel like what's done in the home stays in the home.
Yep.
You don't tell your business to nobody.
And
why are you sharing that kind of information with
right.
people? And that's because that's an embarrassment to our
And
family.
rape victims too. I've had a lot of rape victims tell me that they didn't get justice as when they were kids because back then it was what goes on in my house stays on.
Absolutely.
And then I've had a lot of women tell me that they're afraid to go report it because they're afraid of going
Shame.
to court. They don't want to be
Embarrassment.
ashamed and guilt.
Guilt.
They don't want to be judged, stuff
Nope.
like that. So
Absolutely.
you have a lot of women walking around here with a lot of built-in anger and pain and
Yes.
going through stuff, and men too.
Yes, that's absolutely number one thing we need to address, that men do go through it, and they will suffer in silence. They will not
probably
tell no
more
one.
so than women because they don't really want to come out because it demasculates them.
Absolutely,
really do.
And I think it's important to let them know that it's okay to speak up and speak out, and this is a no judgment zone. And a lot of times, due to the fact that you're being judged, or someone, oh man, you letting your woman do this, that, and the other to you, you should not allow that to happen. But that is not the case because it deals with your mental sanity. These physical scars that we have,
you recover from that, but it's mental.
You can mask it, you can cover it up. But those emotional and mental scars, a mental anguish, somebody making you feel bad and worthless about yourself, making you walk on eggshells. These are things that is embedded.
Yeah.
These things will stick with you and make you, people don't bounce back from these things.
Right. And I think, when people keep saying what should we do to stop the violence in our community, and I think it does start with some kind of help as far as like therapy or something, because I think a lot of stuff goes on and a lot of people are going through stuff too. When you can go up to somebody and just shoot them or drive-bys and stuff, a lot of times you don't know what they're going through at home.
Yes. Hurt people hurts people.
And there you go. And it starts. And, until we can figure out what the situation is with these people while they're doing that, it's just going to continue. It's just going to get, it's never going to get better. And
see, we're dealing with so much now. We're dealing with the racial injustice. We're dealing with all these things with going on, this police brutality, everything that's going on out here. It's like a bombardment of everything just happening all at one time. And 2020 came in like a flood. Like, oh my God, we was ready for 2020.
And you know what? It ain't got no better.
It's gotten worse.
I'm just like so over it at this point. I'm just tired of everything. You still got the COVID going on.
COVID has changed.
The racism is at its highest.
Yes. Domestic violence is
rapes is at its highest. Everything is just at its highest and at its peak right now.
Yes. Yes, but I
You
do
know,
want to give before we shut, go out. I do want to give the information about the domestic violence hotline. Excuse me, and you can just give it, put it up to
Mhm.
your camera and let people see that is one of the numbers that you can reach.
it says break the silence.
Yes, and the number is
Reach out and speak up.
877-863-6338. Once again, if you are in need of any type of domestic violence, and because it's not something that they will tell your business to. You have to know that you don't have to suffer in silence.
Right.
You can get out because you're not alone.
And it's confidential. You don't have
Very
to tell everybody your
confidential.
business. If you want to see a therapist or somebody, it's not, you don't want everybody knowing. It is confidential. So
Very
it's your choice whether
confidential.
you decide
You
to tell
have
somebody
to.
or not. You know.
Yeah, that's something
And
that.
she's just so gorgeous. I just love you.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
have such
Now,
a
honey,
good
this is
spirit.
nothing but God's grace and
Yes, it
mercy, honey.
is.
God's grace and
You have
mercy.
such a good spirit.
It made me realize that I could have been gone that day.
Mhm.
God spared my life, and He gave me He allowed me to go through the pain, but He gave me purpose through my pain.
Yes, He did.
And I am so forever grateful.
Mhm.
I have not only, this is just like nothing that I would think that it's not supposed to be talked about. This is
Right.
something that needs to be talked about. This
Yeah.
is something that people need to really see
Mhm.
me and see my story, know my story, because you may know my name, but you don't know my
There
story.
you go.
So, you have to know that this is something that's needed. It's necessary. I'm necessary.
Mhm.
I'm definitely necessary.
Mhm.
And when you have to walk and you have to be bold, you have to be confident, and you have to be
Right.
confident, bold, and beautiful at
Yes.
the same time, because a lot of us, this can tear you down so bad. You don't
Mhm.
even have to always just go through domestic violence for
Mhm.
stuff to tear you down and break you down so bad. It
Mhm.
could be anything. It could be just life that you go through, that
Right.
people just don't know how to deal with life.
Mhm.
So you have to know that you are necessary. We
Mhm.
have to always speak positive affirmations in our life,
Right.
positive things.
Yep.
Leave all
And
that
one of the
negativity
things I
alone.
do is I meditate every morning, and I ask God to help me become a better person, take all the hate, hurt, anger, pain, and unforgiveness out of my heart,
Yes,
and
because
replace it with love, peace, blessings, forgiveness, and patience. And I think that's what helps me become a better person.
yes, because you have
Um,
gone through something
you know,
a lot of us have never ever experienced
the
before.
and I meditate, and I have to say, you are amazing, you are beautiful. And I have, like, on my walls, I put, like, the little letters, and I wrote, like, you are amazing, you are beautiful,
That is
Black
so
girl resilience.
great.
It's
Yes.
just each wall has something nice
Now
and
that give
positive.
me
And
an
I do
idea.
my candles, and I have my my little, different crystals and stuff.
That's
and that helps
good.
me, because Lord, I think I probably would have been off the deep end by now.
Yeah, but you know
You
what?
know,
I am
so
so happy to see you, and you doing good,
you
and
too, honey.
and I'm sure that there are moments that you will,
Mhm.
reflect and say, you know what? Because why do I have to lose my child?
Mhm.
And I can't never experience,
Right.
really tell you how I feel about what you're going through, because I've never experienced that. But I
Mhm.
can sympathize,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
can say, I will pray for you, and anything you
Right.
need from
Mhm.
me, I'm there.
And vice
So
versa.
always remember that there are good people out here. There are
Mhm.
some that just want to grab a hold of your coattail and just hang on just for the ride. But there are
Yeah.
some genuine people that really are there for people, because I had to
Exactly.
realize that, man, everybody is not going to be who you think, and you cannot call everybody your friend.
Man, I've learned that.
You
Yep.
cannot
And
call everybody
sometimes
your
you got to
friend.
just find people and leave them where you found them, because people want you to support them, but they don't support you.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
ask them to do something, or they say they're going to do something, and they don't do it, and then they want you to come out and walk your way for them. It's not happening no more. I'm too no.
Yes, and it is
Absolutely not.
because we're living in some difficult times right now. And
Right.
why do we have to still deal with more drama on top of drama?
Right.
Hey, y'all. Drama on top of drama. So
Right.
these are things that we really need to keep, always remember to always speak positive things in
Right.
our life, be around positive people,
Mhm.
always knowing that in the time of trouble, need,
Mhm.
that these people are really truly there for you.
Oh yeah, I know.
Mhm.
Now when were when he attacked you with a hammer.
Mhm.
Let people know the damages that he did. 'Cause
Okay,
I
yes.
see you have a patch on your eye, and
Yes.
I just love it. So every time I see you, so cute. I just love her patches. She has the cutest patches I've ever seen, and they
Yes.
always match her clothes.
Well, the damages, the trauma that I've experienced from all this really bad incident. Um, I was beaten in the head with a hammer while I was asleep and left me to die. Um, where part of my brain matter was still left in the bed. When I came to, I couldn't understand what was going on. I'm trying to figure out, why am I bleeding out of my nose, my mouth, and what is all this stuff in the bed? And I couldn't see out of one of my eyes. And when I looked in the mirror, I'm just like bloody all over the place. So I immediately, like, well, thank God that my son acted quickly. I was able to be here now.
Did you
But
scream for him, or how did he know?
my son said I screamed. I don't remember screaming or
Okay.
anything. I don't
Okay.
remember none of it. And all I remember that I was just like, what happened to me? And he told me, and he was very, hysterical, just trying to get me some help. So before the paramedics and everybody can come in, the police didn't let nobody come in until they made sure the scene is safe. They had to come up. My son was still going through, like, why don't y'all let somebody, my mom could be dying. So, and they came up and made sure the scene was safe, and then let the paramedics in. But when the paramedic, I'm listening to everything, and I'm hearing them talk about, oh my God, she's dead, she's alive, she's alive. Oh my God, because they couldn't believe it. And they was like, wow. And I just kept telling them, don't let me die, don't let me die. And they were telling me, oh no, you're not gonna die. You are talking. So by the time that I got to the hospital, I was in so bad of a shape. And that's when my daughter came in. She didn't want to go. She sent her husband in first. And he was like, it's bad. So after that, all I can remember that the people in the hospital, because I went to the University of Chicago Hospital where they took me initially, but because I was in too bad of a shape, they told me, oh no, we can't do anything for her here. She's in too bad of a shape. So they had to airlift me to Mount Sinai Hospital. So all I can remember is them telling me when I wake up they told me, well, I remember before then they told me, well, you sustained so many injuries that we're going to have to take your left eye out. Is it okay? Wow. And I can remember saying, okay. But after that, they had to put a metal plate in my skull because he crushed my skull, broke every last bone on the left side of my face. All the bones were broken and shattered. And that's why they had to take my eye out, because it was so badly damaged. It was no good anymore. So they had to remove my eye. They had to put braces on my teeth because I couldn't even put my teeth down. Wow. They had to put the braces. I was with braces in my teeth because at first they wanted to wire my mouth. My daughter was like, no, they put braces on my teeth. I had that in my mouth. I was on a liquid diet for 6 months. Wow. And from the 6 months, I have no taste buds or no sense of smell anymore. I have this metal plate. I have gashes in the back of my head as well. Right. So I'm having all this stuff like a mummy and with no eye. I just didn't see. I was so like, I never cried in the beginning of it because I felt that I'm alive. And people kept saying, Yolanda, you're not crying, you're not showing any emotions. And I was like, you know what? This is overwhelming for everybody and myself. And I think that I just want to live. I just want people to know. I want people to know my story. Right. So that's when all the, after me out here, I'm reaching out, people reaching out to me. And that's when I was already in Metropolitan Family Services. I joined them. And then I start connecting with other people, other women that has been, with domestic violence. And that's how it all began. That's how it all started, where people started hearing my story. I went into the jails and I would speak to the women in the jails. Huh? Okay. And then I was actually just started. That's where it all started at. And then after that, I was being honored by different people. Right. Bebo, one of the Amazing Overcomers. Then my book, One Eyewitness, came out. And then honored being on Windy City Live. And then being honored by the state's attorney. I mean, just so many. I mean, many people, even my alumni, they honored me. One of the Data Cake, Keisha Mills, she honored me. And I mean, the list go on and
Right.
on the sax lay. I mean, I was honored by so many wonderful people. The Thomas twins, they honored.
Right.
I was like, oh my God, I got so many people that
Yes.
was honoring me, and it just amazing how people
And that
realize
helped
that
you
this helped me
a lot,
and
didn't it?
it did. I mean,
Yeah.
people don't
And I
realize
can
when you go
imagine
through
it brought your confidence up too, didn't it?
it did because
Yeah.
I did not see the vision. I did not
Right.
see me looking because my sister Terry Hickenbottom, she the one that gave me hope.
Okay.
She gave me hope. She made me see something in me that I didn't see in the beginning because I had no eye. I had nothing. All I was wearing was a white gauze over my face.
Okay.
She said, "Yolanda, you are too much of a diva,
Right.
and we get
Right.
ready to make this happen." She started creating all of my eye patches.
Okay.
And with all them eye patches came all that confidence came
Yeah.
and all
You
that.
got your groove back.
I got my groove back. And all because of her. It was just like she gave me life. She helped me God gave me life. But she helped the life flourishing. She
Yes.
brought so much out of me that she don't even know. And if she knew that I was on this live talking about her, she'd be like, "What, sister?" But she is amazing. Thank you, Terry Hickenbottom. Thank you, everyone, for
Who has
being a part
supported
of
you.
my
Yes.
journey. You all have really been there for me, everyone, because I wouldn't be here without a lot of people support. And that's
one thing. One thing I will say,
support system.
I've built an amazing team.
Yes.
I actually just did a photo shoot because I'm being featured in
That's
People's
right.
Magazine,
Congratulations.
Sheen Magazine, and rolling out. I think my rolling out in Sheen come out this week. I think it is, and I think People come out next week. So
Awesome.
it's just amazing.
It takes a support system. Like they say, it takes a village to raise a child.
Yes,
it
do.
takes a support system to help because you can't do anything without that support system.
Nope. And,
you need a great support system.
We are also coming out with the first coloring book should be done and coming out hopefully by the end of the year. And comic book, the series we started on it. My PR Nikita, she's actually working on the script for it now.
Awesome.
So once she gets the script written, then we'll start the comic book series, which we're going to turn into a Netflix series, Black Girl Resilience, a Netflix series. Then we're coming out with our own lip gloss. It has my logo, MJG Movement, on here, and a little box says MJG Movement. So hopefully the end of this year, beginning next year, will be better. COVID did set me and my team back too.
MJ Movement, yes.
Girl, we've been a partner to do some stuff together.
Yeah.
We are going to actually start planning a march for next year. When George Floyd was murdered, I went down to Minneapolis to stand in solidarity with mothers from all over the world. And since then, they've had several marches in Minneapolis and LA and stuff. And I figured instead of me steady running to all these different states to support them, we have mothers in Chicago and we have victims. So when I go home, I'll be talking to Frankie Robinson and we're going to start trying to see if we can come up with to just throw a march in Chicago for mothers, victims, domestic violence, rape, for all of us. And I will keep you posted on that also. So we got some great things happening, honey.
Yes, collaboration is everything.
Yeah, ain't it?
Yeah,
I'm telling you, it really is. And I'm just so grateful for everything. And I have an amazing team. I really do. And I tell them every day, how appreciative I am for everybody that's there for me too. Because without them, I just wouldn't have none of this stuff.
Oh yeah, I know. Me too. I am forever grateful. Also with my book being out. It's a good read, and it's important for people to read. Yes, most definitely. One Eye Witness, and my story was featured on WGN News. Also did a segment on Channel 7. I was also on Fox 32. Then on WVON with Chat Daddy Art Sims. Okay. And the list goes on and on.
The name of the book is One Eye Witness by Yolanda Carter. It's a read. Tell them how they can.
Yes, you guys, if you all would like to purchase the book, you can go on the website. And they also have a Kindle version, oneeyewitness.com. But you can go on www.oneeyewitness.com. And that's www.oneywitness.com. That's what you can go on and purchase your copy of One Eyewitness.
Yeah, and please go out and support her and get your copy today and show support and for our
Thank you.
sister here, and tell us again about the different things you got going
Also,
on here.
we have, like I said, Metropolitan Family Services. Sorry, Metropolitan Family Services, and this is very important. A lot of the services that we offer, because we need to let people know that these are things that
Metropolitan Services. I don't know if
Metropolitan
you can
Family
see it or
Services.
not, but I'm gonna hold it up, please.
Yeah, Metropolitan Family Services, and it's very, it's a confidential. They deal with everything. It's a one-stop shop.
Okay. Let me
Yes.
hold this one up now. And what's this one?
There is no room for domestic violence in our neighborhoods. So we need to go and beat these streets, get out here and represent and let people know that this is real, and you don't have to suffer in silence. And
Right.
we do know that a lot of people cannot get out because a lot of times you may be clocked. Your timing, watching your every move. So a lot of times you just cannot get out and say anything. But we have to be very strategic. We have to be, we also have to be creative, because if we want to give somebody something and we want them to know about services or anything, we have to give them a bottle of water and probably put the little stuff on the,
Right, something.
we have
Exactly.
like on there,
Right.
because a lot of times they'll just throw, a guy be like, oh, they wouldn't pay no attention to it or
Right.
whatever. We have to
Be creative.
disguise. You have to disguise different things. So it's also good to always remember that you can put information out, but because everybody can't take information home.
Right.
Everybody can't take things home. So we
Right.
have to be very, very you have to be very creative when it comes down to giving out literature and information. Because we might want to give, oh, here, take this home or whatever. Take
Right.
this brochure. She'd be like, oh no, I can't take that home.
Right.
Because it'll be a problem. So a lot of times, if it's a bottle of water, little bottles of water, and you just put little stuff around there. They ain't gonna pay no attention to that.
Or like
They'll
little
just
candies or something.
right.
Get the little
put the
wrappers.
Yes,
May say
absolutely.
something.
Yeah.
There's a lot of little things you can do.
Yes. So, like you said, you have to be very creative, and you also have to be very strategic. So when we have to go through these things, because people every day are sitting at home walking on eggshells, they're suffering in silence. They want to get out, but they don't know how to get out.
Right.
But I hope somebody under the sound of my voice, if you want to get out, there is the National Domestic Violence Hotline number. Again, raise the number up, and that one right there. Yeah, break the silence. We want you all to know that the number is 877-863-6338, and that's the Break the Silence, the National Hotline, Domestic Violence Hotline. So you don't have to suffer in silence. Just be safe. If you're trying to get out safely.
Yes.
And we'd never tell you just to tell your partner, oh, I'm going to leave you, because leaving does not equal safety.
Right.
And that's just
and her name is Yolanda Carter on Facebook. If you want to just reach out to her directly.
Yes.
And this is her book, One Eyewitness. If you want to please go out and show some love and support and read her book. And
yes, and I also have some face masks that's coming out as well.
Okay.
One Eyewitness face mask coming out.
It'll be on your website?
Yeah, it's going to be on my website, and I'll post it on Facebook when it gets here. It should be coming soon.
Okay, well, we're looking forward to
I'm excited. That. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, this has been a fabulous conversation. I enjoyed having you. We got some more talking to do once we get off of here. But this is Be the Voice on intellectualradio.com. You guys have an amazing day with your friends and family, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.